Live. All right, live dulu poster. Good evening, everyone. How is your night today? I hope all of you are fine. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live now. CID live, 8:30. Please come in, share the link, share the talk tonight with most of your friends or relatives. All right, we are live tonight. CID is live tonight for you because we want to share something fantastic to you about the property world. All right, the property market today is in a trend of probably a little bit downscale. However, tonight there's a lot of newcomers will be coming in tonight to hear how are you going to buy and own your first property in Malaysia. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are going to give you a little bit of time now. Please share the link out, bring in your friends. Okay, we are live. We want more people to come in. Okay, it's free of charge, no worries. I guarantee you one thing: when you come in tonight after hearing my talk for about 1 hour, 5 minutes to an hour, I will not ask you to take out any of your credit cards or pockets to take out the money to pay me, because I don't want your money. What I want is you to be my audience tonight, because I'm going to share something real in the property market for you. And there's no censoring for you, okay? But of course, we will refrain from vulgarity. So we hope that you can come in and listen to what I have to share, okay? Um, we'll give it a little bit more seconds for you to bring in some friends. However, I hope all of you have taken your dinner. As today you have heard the Prime Minister's announcements, we have continued on with our lockdown. But the good question and the big question mark for all of us is we do know when we are going to end the lockdown. So that is something that you and me will still question the government. We don't know what will happen. But however, as the citizens of Malaysia, we try our best to bring down the numbers, although it's still at 5,000 and above per day. All of us hope that we can stay home. If you have anything important, then you go out. However, if you don't have anything, please try to stay home and keep your family and your relatives and your friends safe at home, safe from COVID virus as well. All right, the COVID-19 virus. This is something not to play a fool with, because yes, we do have some of my friends who passed the virus to their loved ones and they have passed away. So this is not a game to play a fool. I hope all of you are taking this seriously, okay, to make sure your family and your loved ones are all safe at home. And of course, get yourself vaccinated. Please get yourself vaccinated. And of course, I'm also vaccinated as well. My first dose has been done last week. So I hope all of you will make sure you go for your vaccination as soon as possible, where the government is doing their best to get all of you vaccinated throughout this pandemic period. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you'll be sharing more of this live show tonight to your friends and whoever that you want to bring them in, because tonight I'm going to give you a fantastic sharing, which is to tell you what exactly is it like and how to own your first property in Malaysia. All right, it's going to be a sweet 45 short 1 hour talk for you. All right. And if you have any questions, please pop it up. I can probably answer your questions as soon as possible when you give your questions. All right. So I'm sure all of you probably have not known who am I, or if you have came into my talk before, you probably know me. My name is Lau Tong. Okay, Lau Tong. Don't call me Lontong Sotong. Whatever Lokong also don't call. My name is Lau Tong on IC LOWTUNG, also known as LT. Why I put my name LT is because a lot of people in the market do not pronounce my name. When I say my name is Lao Tong, you say, Lokong. No lah. Actually, I'm LT, all right? And I have a vast 16 years of experience in the real estate industry, okay? Since 2004, when I was a little boy, I started real estate at the age of 20, so you exactly know how old am I now. And in 2018, finally, after so many years in the market, I've pursued my licensed real estate agent. Okay, I got my certificate of estate agency from INSPEN, Institute Penilaian Negara, in 2013. Where in 2018, after my practical is fully done, I'm certified by the Board of Valuers Appraisal Estate Agents, finally, with the number Estate Agent E2733. You can simply go to the board's website or the board's app to download it from any of your Play Store or App Store. You can check out the board there. You can just key in my name or my number. You can see my details there, and I have nothing to hide from you. All right. And of course, I'm also the managing director of this CID Realtors, a firm which is one of the co-founders as well, the firm which is situated in Track where Zouk Club is, okay, just next to Zouk. We are there not because we like to drink, but because it's a fantastic entertainment hub that everyone knows. So we want to be in front of Jalan Tun Razak, number 438, next to RSGC Golf Club as well. So if you pass by Jalan Tun Razak going into KL towards KLCC, remember to look to your right above Bulatan Pandan. You will see our signage there, CID Realtors. We are situated there. That's our HQ. And of course, we have 9 branches all around Malaysia as well. You can go to our office in Caltrek, which is HQ. Sunway, Bandar Sunway office, which is in PGS 10, right in front of Sunway Pyramid. And we also have our Klang office, okay, in Bandar Bukit Tinggi 2. All right, and also Jalan Imbi as well. If you go to the old Suki restaurant there, you eat the Sangha Mina, the big prawn head noodle. You can also see us just above Suki in a restaurant in Jalan Imbi. And we are also in Johor, okay, Johor Bahru. We are also in Bandar Botanic Johor Bahru. Eco Botanic Johor Bahru. Okay, Eco Botanic, which is situated in Nusa Jaya as well, and Penang as well at Somerton in Queens Bay Mall, near the Queens Bay Mall there. We are also there in the Penang Island, okay, and Bukit Jalil as well, next to the new pavilion coming up, and Kota Damansara. Okay, we are in Kota Damansara as well, and we are also in Setia Alam, where we are just behind the Clan Group office, and also Ipoh. Okay, and our Ipoh office is coming up soon as well. So we have actually placed and trained a lot of negotiators to serve the Malaysian market in real estate. Okay, being a real estate agent myself, of course, I've came into the market to become a trainer as well, and I became a speaker and a coach. And of course, today I'm speaking to most of you online here, all right, to give you some tips on what to do in the real estate industry when you purchase your first property. Now, I also do a lot of specialized consultancy and on marketing and pricing of new project developments, especially industrial and commercial properties, because I'm actually from that line. Okay, as a realtor myself, for the past 16 years, I've handled industrial properties throughout my life in this career, and also commercial properties. That doesn't mean I do not know how to sell residential property or do not know how to buy residential property. Is because I didn't like to deal with emotions all the while. I like to deal with business, which is why I focus more on the industrial and commercial market. However, whatever residential issues I've dealt with so far with all my colleagues and my my partners and so on and so forth, we have settled it fantastically. So if you have anything to ask about residential, I'm the perfect person for you to ask as well. All right, because in industrial and commercial is one of the hardest deals you deal in the market. Okay, we are dealing with all the big boys. And of course, I also do corporate real estate advisory and to corporate clients on whether to expand their factory or expand their office, expand their warehouse, or probably downsizing as well, or relocation or consolidation. I do all this advisory to many clients that I've done throughout my years of experience in the real estate industry. Okay? That is exactly who am I. Of course, if you see my photo, I got a little bit of Jackie Chan's nose, but I'm not Jackie Chan. He's not my brother, but he's a very famous actor that I love. All right. Anyway, a little bit of my career history, because a lot of you have not seen me before. All right. So I have to need to explain to you why am I someone tonight that you probably want to listen to and probably want to get some advice from to buy your first property. Now, in 2004, when I started my real estate journey, all right, I was with SK Brothers Realty, a firm which is situated in PJ. Okay, I'll just like any other real estate negotiators or agent, I started off as a project sales executive selling new projects, new houses, which is developed by developers as well. Okay, then I find that I didn't like selling houses because I wanted to do something better than that. So I went into become a junior real estate negotiator with the industrial and commercial division, where I was there for 1 year, and I learned the trade how to walk door to door to serve clients, to also ask people to buy offices. And the project that I was selling back then was 32 square in PJ. All right, so I basically walk the whole of SS2, the walk Taman Mega, Taman Mayang, or Filio Damansara 2, all these places, Taman Tun 1, Taman Tun 2. I walk all these places door to door to ask clients, hey, do you want to buy a property? So I always kena scolding lah, kena say no salesman lah, get out lah you, all these kind of things. But of course, that was what we call a commando training. You learn how to become a commando in the army. Okay, we learn the hard way how to do sales. Now, in 2006, I ventured to Redfield Properties, Sendirian Berhad, okay, in Subang Jaya, where it was near my house. I was staying in USJ back then. And that was the time I met a Sifu, okay. This Sifu of mine was an Indian guy by the name of Gerald Peter, Gerald Varugis. He was a fantastic guru to me. He taught me how to become an industrial specialist, where I covered Subang Jaya, USJ, and also Puchong. I was doing only factories back then, selling terrace factories, industrial factories, semi-D factories, and also detached factories. But in 2008, that's when I learned the most. When I hit the top sales of the year, selling more than 40 semi-D factories that year itself. Okay, but of course that time semi-D factories was like $1 million plus minus. But I had a good mentor, so I learned how to trade very well, and I became a specialist in Puchong area to sell industrial properties there. And of course, in 2010, I have to venture. I followed my boss to venture into CBD properties, where we set up a branch itself in Aradamansara, where we ran an office there to do industrial properties as well. And of course, we needed a change after 2013. That's where we joined Metro World Realty Sendirian Berhad, where we opened up an office, okay, in Sunway, where I was also a center director, a partner as well, okay, a quiet partner doing sales at the back. I was also still covering Shah Alam and also Klang that side, doing industrial properties. That's where I learned to do the larger MNC deals and all the big boys games. All right. And being so many years in the line, lucky me, of course, I was spoken to the boss itself of Metro World, and I managed to become the CEO, bought in shares to become the CEO of the company. But it was just a short span because something popped up, something bad popped up. So I got my license. I had to rush off to open up a company, CID Realtors. That's how we founded CID Realtors, together with some of the founding fathers of CID Realtors. Okay, which today they are all our partners as well. Okay, I thank them for giving that such good support, where we managed to create a CID brand today. Okay, and of course, as the group managing director from 2018 until today, we have worked with fantastic partners and directors as well to grow this real estate industry as fast as possible, to serve the nation as much as we can. All right. So, without that, this is a bit of my career history. So at least you know who am I. Um, so to begin what we have to speak today, ladies and gentlemen, all right, I'm going to speak more about how are you going to buy real estate in the market, okay? But especially buying your first property. A lot of you come in today to hear how are you going to own your first property. If you have owned a property before this, of course, congratulations, you are in the market to become an investor as well, okay? Now, who buys real estate in Malaysia? Let's put this question up to all of you. I'm sure all of you know anyone who lives in Malaysia or lives around the world needs a real estate. Okay, what we call a real estate. Real estate can consist of residential property, commercial property, industrial property, and also the most basic of all, the scarcity item, which is called land. Okay, all property comes from the land first. So, who's the one that buys real estate? Dwellers, working adults, family, investors, businessmen, farmers, human. Of course, human like you and me. We need real estate. You can't go and ask the government, can I stay in Batu Cave? Hey, please, they'll kick you out straight, because you no longer can live in a Paleolithic time where you live inside a cave, or you live under the bridge. You can't do that. Okay? You basically need to buy a property to live in, or if you do not have money to buy, you can always start off with renting a property first, or renting a particular, what we call that, the sorry, just a glitch, by renting the property or renting a room as well. All right. Now, the important item that you need to understand from being a buyer to real estate is everyone needs it. Whether you like it or not, regardless you have the money or not, you have to choose to rent or purchase. Now, when you do that, you have to deal with people who are offering you that kind of real estate. Now, when we talk about working adults, people who are probably working in KL, you live in Subang, or people who have working in KL, you live in Semenye, or people who live in Kajang, works in PJ as well. So all these are people who are we consist as working adult. And of course, when you come from a time where you are studying, okay, then after that you go to university, then you get graduated, then you go to college, okay, you go to university and college to get graduated, then you come out your first working place, then you meet your loved one, then you start a family on your own, you get married. Now when you start a family, or before you start a family, you still need a property for yourself, okay, otherwise you got where to make love, to go and make babies, you need a property. All right, you need a property to do that. So the next thing is, as a person who has already owned a family, own a property yourself, what will you do next? When you have money in your EPF, you'll probably put it out, get out some EPF account to go and buy a property for investment as well, or to stay. So when you buy a property for investment, you collect rent to achieve what? Passive income. Okay, all of us want property to get passive income. I know some of you may say, oh, I got better place to invest my money, I can probably buy shares or things like that. But of course, real estate is one of the safest investment for all of you if you choose to invest in real estate, because that can make you have your old days, your retirement savings will all come from a real estate. For businessmen, farmers, they need land, they need factories to produce what we are using today. And especially if you ask me today, if you look at the market, COVID situation or pandemic, everyone says, "Oh shit, real estate is damn scary. I'm worried to buy real estate tonight or today." Why? Because real estate is on the slump. Now look at it on on the whole market in a whole. All right, not every market is falling, especially if you say if residential. Of course, some of the high end ones, yes, you have a market which is holding on now because they don't want to invest in that. But if you are people who are like you and me, we need a property to stay. People need a place to quarantine, need a place to stay in their home. Where are you going to get the home? This is an essential product that we are mentioning in the market. You need a real estate because it is an essential product. Although, what are the three basic needs we need in life? We need food and water, we need clothes. Why food and water? Because we need to consume. Why clothing? Because so that we won't spread diseases everywhere if we don't wear clothes. All right. And then, of course, the third item, what is that? Shelter. Real estate is a shelter. Okay, the shelter that we used to see last time in many thousands of years ago is living in a cave. Then people start making huts. Then of course today you have a brick home. Okay, you have a stone home. So basically today we are talking about shelter, that sell shelter as an essential product that all of you need. Okay, whether you are a human, definitely you are a human. Okay, if you're an alien, you're definitely not from Malaysia or from the world. You are a human, and you and me need a real estate. Whether the house is a small one or a big house or just a small room or small apartment you're renting, it is called a real estate. And these are the people who buys real estate. Okay, so if you're coming from college, young guy, you intend to come out to work, you when you're in college also you already think where to stay. You need a place to rent a room. Okay, you need to rent a room in order for you to stay in the room to study and sleep, so that the next day you can go to college for classes. So that's derived of all the buyers that is in real estate. Now the next item I want to discuss with all of you is people who buy real estate. When you come into the first real estate that they intend to purchase, they will always look at one situation that they are going to be in, their current status. So the question to ask you is, what is your current status today? What do you mean by current status? Are you going to get married? Are you gonna sudah tunang ke? Or are you married? Or maybe you have kid, or maybe you have twins, or maybe multiple kids. Then the next thing is you're working. Okay, you're currently working. You're just a single guy, want to come out and work. So what is your current status? The question is, And the question next to us is, with my status now, I need a place to stay. I need to find a place to live in, to dwell. Okay? Or maybe we say, I need a place to make babies with my loved ones. So this is the things that you want to decide as a human being when you come out to the real world. So make sure you check your status now today. Okay? Your status also tells you what is your bank account. You must look at the budget. What are you having in order to derive at the status that you are in today? All right? You can choose whether to rent first, or you can choose whether to buy first. You can always rent to purchase as well. When you rent the home, as you decide when you rent there over the 3 to 5 years or 4 years or 5 years that you're living there, you can also decide to talk to the owner. I like this place. Can I discuss with you for a price to purchase from you? So these are the things that you can think of for your future. As a human, we always need to plan. Okay, if you don't plan, if you fail to plan, this is what my boss used to teach me last time in SK Brothers. He taught me this: a person who fails to plan, okay, is planning to fail. Okay, a person who fail to plan is the plan to fail. So make sure you don't plan to fail. Make sure you plan what you want to do in the coming years. Where are you going to work? Where are you going to get a place to dwell and build a career from there? Okay, get your current status and make sure you know your status, know your EPF account, know what bank loans, what is your debt service ratio, your DSR. How are you going to get your financing from the bank? Because make sure you remember this: the banks are your fantastic partners to purchase property with. Nobody asks you to buy with cash. Huh? Nobody going to ask you crazily go and buy things with cash and live in a very enjoyment world if you don't want to. You don't want to own any loans. But of course, if you have some good loans, good service, good debts, you are always good to partner the bank in buying your property. All right, because they give you fantastic low interest rates into purchasing one. So make sure you check what is your current status. Whether you're married now, you want to move into a next property, choose one. All right, choose what's your status and make sure you know it. So the next thing we're going to discuss is, how is a person who's buying their first property in Malaysia will need to know how to identify an ideal place to live. Now, in Malaysia, we have a lot of, we have, of course, the urban area, the city center, which is KLCC, KL area, all right? The KL city center is the fantastic place. Of course, not everyone can afford to stay in KL area. Then you have the suburbs of KL, where you have Mont Kiara, you have Bukit Jalil, you have Cheras, you have Ampang, you have Bangsa, you have Petaling Jaya, Taman Tun, Pantai. You have so many places around that. Batu Caves, Gombak, Selayang, you name it. That's all suburbs. So how do you going to identify the first property to purchase? Now, my advice for all of you viewers is, whenever you choose an ideal place to stay, is to go around the place and understand the place. Find out which area you want to live in. Okay, find out who are the people you want to live in with, the area around it. Whether is that you go to the commercial area, whether is there McDonald's for you, whether is there pharmacy for you, is there Tesco for you, is there a Justco for you, convenience for you to purchase the property. Now, when you look for a property, when there's a hypermarket nearby, you always realize that the property is one of the best properties that will increase in price. Why? Because those are the necessities, and we call it convenience for you to purchase your necessities. And of course, some people also like to live in the bank. Now, you ask me, I'm a person who live in Subang Jaya. I live in OUG before, then I shifted to Subang Jaya. So when I grow up, I got married. Okay, I married to my wife. I stayed in Subang. I stayed in Glen Marina. Why I want to stay in Glen Marina? Why I want to stay in Subang Jaya, USJ to Subang Jaya to USJ, then to Glen Marina? Because I want to live around this place. But I work in KL. So now, why did I first choose to live in Subang? Because I was born here. I mean, no, wasn't born here. I will live here half my life. I grew up here. I got all my friends here. I know where the banks are. I know where to get my, if I want to eat Malay food, I know where to get my ayam kampung food. I know when I want to eat Indian food, I know where to go for my Indian food. If I want to go my Chinese food, I know where to buy Chinese food. I know Japanese food, where is it? So that becomes a convenience. However, people who are from the outstation, you're from other states, if you want to come and buy your first property in Malaysia, I'm in KL, how do you going to check whether is this the place that fits you? Go to the area, drive around, eat there, spend your time there, go to the hawker center, go to the mamak center and makan, go to the food court. Find out where the banks are, find out where the hypermarkets are. So this part, you can identify whether is this the place you're ideally looking to stay. Okay, now different areas have different demographics of people living. Okay, some you have, of course, the Malay ethnicity, which is higher, like Shah Alam. Okay, then you go to areas like Subang Jaya, where everything is balanced, Malay, Indian, Chinese, and etc., all balanced. Then you go to Kepong, Chinese dominated. Jinjiang, Chinese dominated. You go to Mont Kiara, you see all of more foreigners there as well, and of course now more Malaysians going there. Then you go to Kampung Baru, Malay dominated. Different areas have different ethnicity, vast of people staying in there. But however, I'm not trying to be racist, but I'm just trying to tell you, choose the area where you feel you're comfortable with as Malaysian trying to find a place to purchase your first property, or even intend to rent first to have a feel. You don't need to rush to buy a property. Okay, remember what I tell you. Don't rush into making a decision. I'm sure some of you get agents or people throwing you things to ask you to buy, try to go and get this loan, try to get this thing. Don't rush into things, my dear friends. Always, because you're not buying a vegetable from the pasar. Okay, you're not buying your ubi kentang from the pasar. You're buying a real estate. When you purchase your real estate, you're going to make one of the biggest decisions in your life to purchase your first real estate. So you have to make sure when you make a decision, you go to the place and have a feel, even though you are buying a first new project that's going to be built by a developer. Find the place and go and feel it first. Don't buy and rush into something that you do not know what you're buying. Okay, identifying a place to live is one of the most ideal things you need to do. And of course, in Malaysia, you have so many states. Okay, from all the way from East Malaysia to Semenanjung, Malaysia. And when you identify, okay, you also want to see how far is it from here going to the place you're working. Is your cost for petrol station, for petrol and also for toll, going to increase if you're going to work that far? Your time. Now, the important thing that all of you need to understand, what you and me can never buy is time. You have 24 hours, I have 24 hours. How you want to use your 24 hours is important. So some people always say, oh, I'd rather live further away, it's cheaper. But have you thought of it? Living further, your variable cost increase. What is your variable cost? Your toll and your petrol. In long run, you pay a cost which is higher. But of course, look at the connectivity of highways as well. All right. So if you are more mobile, you stay somewhere in the central will be fantastic. But if you are going to have a fixed cost, you can also do your calculation whether you come from there, how much is it, and to go back, how much is it. So choose the location ideally and make sure you do your calculation. And of course, later I'll tell you some tools to help you do your decision as well to ease off your decisions. All right. Now, next thing we want to identify is a place to live in. Okay, what is the property? What is the first property that you want to buy? Also derives on the price range that you want to see. Whether you are within a price range of 200,000 to 500,000, 200,000, 300,000, 350,000 to 500,000. What is the property ideally you want to purchase? Okay, but you must look at the budget and what is in your saving accounts and your EPF as well. All right, if you want to purchase from your EPF account too. Now, the question next to us is, some people ask me, hey, Mr. Lau, there's a lot of agents giving me those rebate properties where you got cash back and all this extra rebates and discount. I'm not going to say no, okay, but there's a lot of gurus out there telling you to buy all this. Oh, you can purchase and get back cash. Then you can use the money to do this, do that. Let me tell you this, if you're going to buy that, okay, somebody is going to give you money for your enjoyment. Sounds catchy, right? But if you use the money, don't forget you need to pay it back to the bank. So, and you need to pay it with interest. So please don't buy a car or go and enjoy it with the money or go holiday. You have to use it for the property itself. But however, not, I don't think that should be right, because that's not the right way to purchase, and the bank should not borrow from there. So if you want to purchase a property, you should learn the proper way of saving your money and putting your money into the property to let it work for you. Now, how to let your money work for you? There's a way to calculate your calculate your cash in returns on the properties, which I will share a tool with you later on at the end of this talk tonight. Now, how to identify a place to live in? There's plenty of properties. Okay, you can range from a low cost apartment, from a medium cost apartment, to a high end condominium. Okay, to a low end, so a low density residential property, which is a condominium, which is low density. You can also look at places like double story houses, single story houses, 3 story houses, semi houses, and outskirts. Okay, you also have a piece of land, bungalow type, or even for our Malay friends, okay, our Bumi friends, you can also look at Malay reserve land to purchase. There is a lot of Malay reserve projects in the outskirts area, okay, where our developers will cut off houses and build the houses for you to purchase. And Malay reserve properties are always much cheaper in the market. Okay, but I'll tell you what is the disadvantages and advantages as well for this kind of properties. Of course, you only have the Malay ethnicity to sell it later on. That's why the prices is always lower than the rest. But it is also a good purchase if you plan to buy and stay and don't intend to sell, because you're always getting a cheaper property on hand. Now, some of it is freehold, some of it is leasehold. There's plenty of properties. So you need to choose what kind of property that you want to live in. Now, when you choose a condominium or a service apartment, which is on a commercial piece of land, you probably need to pay. You definitely need to pay your cukai tanah, and your assessment. Your cukai pintu and cukai tanah. Cukai pintu is assessment. Cukai tanah is quit rent. So this item you need to pay them. When you stay in a landed property, you need to pay your cukai tanah. Some landed properties also need to pay service maintenance, and of course, high rise definitely to pay maintenance fee and your sinking fund. So you need to choose whether is this going to be a cost that will knock you off every month certain amount of money and will keep you into a better worse debt, or maybe you want to pay for that to use the facilities in the property itself. All right, of course there's a lot of condos ranging from 200,000 all the way to 1 million ringgit. So it's up to you to choose where's the ideal place you want to live in. I'm not going to sell you any projects today. I'm just going to tell you what to look at so you can note down the points. What are the things that I will share with you in looking to buy a property? Because same like you, I've done it before on my first property. When the age of 23, I came into the property. Came into the property world very young, 20 years old. 23, I bought my first property. I bought a condominium in USJ. Okay, I actually paid the property itself for from Sime Darby, from Sime UAP at that time. I bought a 320,000 property, freehold condominium. I thought was planning to stay there. However, I rented it out after that. But yeah, so that was my first property that I purchased. It was a great deal of things that I've done to it as well. I need to go and renovate it. I need to go do some things to it to get a tenant in, repair this, repair that. There's a lot of things to do it. But that was the time I also choose where should I live. I'm a USJ boy. So I thought, okay, fine, I'll just make a place in USJ, something that is near. So probably I can live there if there's anything happen. I got a place to stay in. Okay. But of course, I tell you one of the best jokes in my life. That time I made money. I wanted to buy. I was in a pondering situation whether to buy the first condominium that I'm going to stay in, or to buy a terrace factory in Puchong, because I was doing factories back then. So the factory I didn't purchase because I was thinking, hey shit, I'm going to buy a factory. What if there's no tenant? How am I going to rent it out? I can't stay in a factory. I don't have a business to run in a factory. So I was worried. So I told myself, okay, fine, I'm going to buy the condominium. You know what? After 5 years, that condo that I purchased, I sold it for 445,000. I paid my RPGTs. Okay. And what happened was the same factory that was supposed to purchase, I bought a condo for 320. So the factory was selling for 380. And by the 5 years time, the factory, if you resell it, I was still selling it back then, the factory was up to 800,000. So you know what I've lost. I got like, oh shit, I lost that. But nevertheless, I'm not going to take that as a greedy moment to go and earn that kind of money, because in our first thing in our lives that we want to purchase, like I said, that decision is going to be the biggest decision. Even though you regret it, you will still love it because you are purchasing your first property for stay, or you want to rent it out. It's up to you, but it's actually as a plan to stay. Okay, so if you have some support from your parents or whatsoever, you can also look at buying landed property as well. And it's up to you to choose, but you must know ideally what kind of property you want to live in, because don't let the agent or the developer to psycho you or brainwash you to buy something that you don't want to stay in. Okay, decide on yourself, because you are a decision maker yourself. You are buying your first property in the market. You have to think whether you want to live there, dream whether you want to live there, and perceive yourself living there. If you going to be there and just go around the place and see where to get your petrol station pump, where's going to get your necessities to buy all these things, you must do it to suit your own time and your own life as well. All right. So decide what kind of property you want to live in. Now, the next thing we're going to discuss, like I said, budget is always a constraint. All right. Anyone also need to leave a budget. Even the government runs the country. We need a budget. Okay. Well, what they do with the budget is up to them. They are the government. However, as for us, dwellers, people who live in Malaysia or in KL or whatsoever, we are people who decide whether today you want to rent or you want to purchase. When I started off doing business, also I rent first. I cannot purchase. Of course, now got make money, can purchase lah. Same thing when you are coming out to work. Okay, when you're going to choose your first property, like I told you just now, if you want to buy a property, you want to live in a place, you normally rent a place first, then after you probably decide to buy there, or you're from outstation, you want to decide another place. Do the homework by going to the area and find out and check. You have one of the best tools in your life today, which is called Google Map. You imagine when 2004 I started real estate, when I was starting to do real estate, I have to go to MPH to buy a map book. Okay, the map book was a Navy map book. So basically, you buy the map book, you put on your lap. I was driving a Kanchil back then to go to appointments. I have to look at the map book to find the properties. And whenever I want to buy a real estate, I invested in real estate back then. I have to bring the map book to go there and look at the map and see what's surrounding. And how you're going to look at surrounding, you need to drive around. Use your own five senses to go and touch, feel, smell, taste, whatever lah. See, go to the area. Now, when you become investor yourself, okay, you want to go and buy, you need to decide by going there, correct? So when you go there already, after you see, then you think, whether am I going to rent or purchase first? Okay, if you got no money, don't worry, rent lah. Got money, then purchase lah. So if you purchase, how you're going to go in as your first property, then you need to get your professionals to advise you what to do. So as you go to an area, rental is always to find a landlord. When you've rented a property there, and suddenly you decide that okay, you have the money to purchase, you can always first negotiate with your landlord. You don't need to go far. Negotiate if you feel the place is a good place for you to stay. Then next, if the owner don't want to sell to you, all right, just don't worry. Find out the other units around the area, around the condominium, around the surrounding area that probably wants to sell. I know some of you say, oh, I don't have the budget to do so. Don't worry. Do a debt service ratio calculation. I'll teach you a toolbox later for you to check that. Once you do that, you know what is your earnings, okay, what is your income versus what debt can you take up. Okay, that is the first thing you need to do whenever you purchase. Always remember to make sure you check your income versus your outcome. Okay, what are the things you need to spend on? Now, I always have friends. I mean, all of us are same. We grow up together. We grow up with friends, peers. You grow older, you have friends who buy properties, get married. Then they ask you, hey, LT, whether should I buy? Is this place good to buy? I always get this kind of questions, and friends always ask me. There's always free advice. Why? Because they're friends, we can't charge them. But as a person who's been alive so long, I always love to advise my friends to help them make sure they make one of the best right decisions in their life. Okay, so even though my friends are renting, I also tell them what to do, what to face on. Okay, but of course today we are mainly talking about how you buy your first property. Now, buying your first property, you have to have professionals as well. You need to get the right agent. Where's the source of the property coming from? Of course, later on you need the lawyers and all these people coming in as well. All right, so think about it. Whether you go to rent or purchase first. If you're thinking to purchase, then get the people, do your calculation, get the people to go and look for the properties that's good for you, and you need to do your tapisan yourself. Tapis it yourself whether you like it or not. Okay, and of course, there's plenty of source today to make property to find properties as well. I'll share that with you as well. Now, the process flow of renting and purchasing a property. Now, when you purchase a property, when you rent a property, you can see the diagram on screen. Very simple. Normally, you go and look for a place, negotiate the rent. Okay, if it's no good, then you view again for other properties. Ask them for other properties so that you can go and check it out. Then decide on the property you like. After that, negotiate. If the price is great, you agree, green light, go there, go up. Okay, then when will you move in? Find out when's the date you move in. I have properties myself also that I rented out. So basically, I know the process. When I started doing real estate, I always told myself, I want to be a real estate owner one day. So why I decided to do real estate at the age of 20, I went for a talk. I listened to someone talk to me and said, hey, look, sky is your limit to make the money. And of course, what came through my mind was, if I'm going to do real estate, I'm going to become a tenant, I'm going to become a landlord, I'm going to become a seller, I'm going to be a buyer, because I deal with all of them. So if I know how to deal with them, I can be them anytime. That's how I came into the real estate market. Okay, that's how I came in here, and it's past 16 years I've been doing this, and it becomes a norm for me every day. Now, after you have made your decision to move in, okay, whether later or not pay, and then you pay a booking fee, or if it's now, then you pay a booking fee and your deposits, then you move in, okay, within a month, then you sign a contract, which we call it a tenancy agreement. Okay, now a tenancy agreement is a very simple agreement that ties you up, landlord and the tenant. Okay, this is agreement which is between from 1 month all the way to 36 months, 3 years. Anything more than 3 years is in a term is not a tenancy agreement. It's called a lease agreement. That's another thing we should talk about, like petrol stations and land lease and things like that. But of course, rental, we're talking about tenancy. All right. So make sure you know how to look at the tenancy agreement. And of course, you need to get advice from the lawyers, or probably you want to get it from advice from lawyers, or probably the agent also sometimes can help you. Okay, so remember that, ladies and gentlemen, tenancy agreements are one of the easiest contract to do. Okay, it's not tough, but of course, you CID also have the people to advise you as well. But ladies and gentlemen, if you feel you have any questions now, you can always pop it up and ask me. Okay, I still can answer you any of your questions regarding whatever I've shared. Sorry if I go too fast, but of course, I'm sure something you're getting more excited to what we have to hear. So if any questions, just pop it up, type it up on the screen, okay, on your message board. Our team here will deliver the message to me so I can answer your questions. So next thing, when we talk about buying, the real estate buying process. Now the buying process sounds very simple, all right? First of all, you're preparing to shop. You go to the market to see what to buy, okay? You need to go and see what you buy within your budget. Then the next thing is to find your financing. Now, if you don't like to hear the word budget, we can always say price range. What's the price range you like to hear? Sometimes people call you, hey, sir, what's your budget? You get offended. You think I have no money. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Then we ask, what's the price? The price range that I'm looking at is between 300 and 5,000. Don't be shy to tell people your budget. Why? Because it makes them, the professionals, easier to find the property for you. All right. Then check with your financing as well. Check with the bankers, people that who can teach you or tell you what to do with the money that you have in order to get the best financing partner to buy the property with you. Then finding the right broker, finding the right real estate broker, we call it in States, but of course here we got finding a real estate agent or negotiator that is correctly finding the right property for you as well. As they find, of course, you look you go and view. Some people they say, oh, I go and view one house I like. You can happen, because that will be the first thing you strike. You go and see the real estate agent or the person or the developer sell you the property. You went there, you sangkut hati already. Why you go in there? Oh, nice one. I'm not going to go see other one. You went and purchase. Some people make decisions that fast, but that depends on you. Okay, maybe the agent presented it well or the developer presented it well, so you bought it. Yep, it's up to you. But of course, I always tell people, before you go, you should do your research, because if you don't, you worry that you go there, you get sink into what they tell you. The best thing is always to make a decision there and then when you know about it. So you have to get prepared to go there. If you do your research, will be better before you go. All right. Don't just go because I want to go. Then I see there after you make a decision, simply go and buy. Don't do that. Then once you find the right one, you can always get them to make an offer. Get the agents to make an offer. Okay, get the developer, or you make an offer to the developer yourself. Up to you. Or sometimes if you're dealing with the owner directly, you make an offer directly to the owner. Sometimes you'll get into not so good environment if you do that with owners. Depending, if you are a nice person to negotiate, we can always talk directly to the owner as well. If you didn't go through an agent, okay, if you go through an agent, please talk to the agent or please talk to the developer directly. Then negotiation starts. Okay, they're making your offer. Then of course, during this time when you buy a property, okay, there's a lot of paperwork to be done. You have the letter of offer to purchase, the agreement to purchase, then you have to sign it off. And when you read the agreement to purchase, now listen carefully, my dear friends. Always, if you are dealing with a real estate negotiator, always find out whether that agent is a certified negotiator or not by the company, or whether is the company really issuing him to go and work outside. You can always check that with the board's website or call the company to double confirm. Okay, and remember this, today you do a lot of online payments. I'm sure a lot of you don't pay cash anymore, but if you do pay cash, please, the best is make sure you pay to the estate agent, and make sure the estate agent pays, put it into the client's account, okay, the stakeholders account or the agency's account. Now, another thing is, if you are paying money, if the agent asks you to pay directly to their bank account, be extra careful. Always pay to the company's account or the stakeholders account where it's protected, because those company accounts are normally insured by the company itself. So of course, today you have online, you can do it just through the phone. Make sure you have the receipt as well as all the proof that you have made payment. Okay, so don't simply do payments and don't get into a fraud by people telling you nobody can hoax you if you plan to kind of hoax yourself. Okay, make sure you do your checking. That is why we are giving this kind of talks, to teach you what is the do's and don'ts to do when during the process of flow when you buy a real estate. Because buying, you put a down payment, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, can be a lot of money. It can range from a few $1,000s to tens of thousands of dollars. So make sure you do the right decision by paying to the right accounts. All right. I'm an estate agent. I'm sharing this with you because we have heard many cases people get cheated. So try not to get cheated yourself, because you have to make the right decision in paying to the right place. And while you do that, once you have paid the payment, you read the agreement to purchase. When you sign on it, make sure when they have closed the sale, and that doesn't end yet, because the agent or the developer needs to sign up to you to confirm that this property is a sale. So whether the landlord or the owner has signed it back to you to confirm the sale. Then once you do that, you look forward to your bank loan releasing the money, or if you're paying cash, you pay upfront. Then after that, if there's leasehold, you have a consent to go through. If you don't have a leasehold, okay, if you don't have a consent to go through, then you probably just wait the bank to release the money. When the memorandum of transfer has been done, the MOT has been done, you get your keys. So if you're buying from a developer, then you have to wait, look at the developer's contract, the SPA. Look at the SPA, okay, not SPA, sale and purchase agreement. Look at the SPA. When is the completion date? How long are they going to deliver the property to you? Okay, and from there you can know when can you move in and plan when is your tenancy going to end, if you're renting a place, or where you will move out from your place that you're staying now. So these are the things that you can plan ahead in order to, when you choose your real estate to purchase. All right, any questions, please pop it up. I'm here to listen. The next item, there one question. Okay, one question, let's listen to the one question. Yes, I can't really hear the question. Can I see the question? It's kind of soft. Let's check out the question. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, just a technical issue. We will let the message pop up so that we can see what's the question. I can answer you. All right. The question is, what is a good amount to have in hand? 10% or more for down payment and legal. What is a good amount to have in hand? What do you mean by have a good amount? You mean what's the deposit you want to collect? Is that what you mean? What's the deposit you want to collect from the client? If that's what you mean, normally, of course, you as a, I mean, the buyer wants to pay how much? As a buyer, we normally pay an earnest deposit. When we collect the earnest deposit, is either some people still collect two. Okay, of course, most of the time agents collect 3%. Okay, 3%, or sometimes 3.12. Why all this 3.1? Sorry, 3.18 all come up because they are collecting a SST payment as well for on top of their commission. Professional fees, the agent collects first, then later on the balance 6.82 will be paid during SPA signing. But if your question is about how much the deposit can be paid, let me tell you this: there's no specific law that says the deposit has to be 2%, 3%, 1,000, or anything. A consideration under contract law is $1 is still a consideration. Okay, so to answer your questions, some owners also say, hey, you want to buy the property, you put a 10% down payment into my lawyers, my solicitors. That can also happen, but you have to check the legitimacy of the deal. Whether are you dealing with the owner themselves, or the lawyer itself is appointed by the owner with a letter, then only you make payment. So you can do that. Okay. However, or you can also pass it the money to your lawyer. Then your lawyer releases to the lawyer, to the vendor's lawyer with a letter as well. You can also do that to confirm the legitimacy of the deal. Now, any more questions? Please pop it up. Coming back to what we have speaking here, identifying your source for home. Now, this is the best part I like to share with you. There's many places that consumers like to see, like to look for the source for their homes. All right, the source for their home is like websites. Today, I'm glad to tell most consumers go online. Offline, yeah, probably if they like the place, they go to the place, they drive around, if they allow you to drive around, okay, because now a lot of places all got security. If you can drive around, you see an agent's banner or someone put up an owner's banner, you can call them to ask them for an appointment to view. Okay. Last time, what we do is we look at the classified newspaper. Today, the classified newspaper is like a very thin paper that nothing comes out, and a very minimal advertisements. So where is all the portals today to look for property? Everyone is holding an iPhone. Okay, everyone's holding an iPhone. Like I said, last time people use Google, don't have Google Maps, so they look for property or have to go there and drive around. But today, you got Google Map. Okay, Google Map makes like you are like a bird's eye view, satellite view. You can just go around and find the place so easily. So today you are spoiled with technology. You have technology to help you to look at the property. And some people say, "Hey, this house facing east, west, north, south." If the agent or the person bringing you to the property can't answer you that, please, it's a simple deal. Just on your Google Map, you can see the house direction is north, south, east, or west. It's easily found and looked at Google Map because it's always you can always press the north button at Google Map. All right. So one of the sources that I want to share with you is you can always pop up to our website, cid.com.my. Now, some of you ask, hey, why you keep mentioning this CID? We are called CID Realtors. Okay, it was supposed to man by its commercial industrial division. However, we put this name CID is because we perceive ourselves like the CID for the real estate market, but we are not here to catch people, okay? And have nothing to do with the police force. But it's just a nice catchy name which we can go around the global because CID means consider it done. Okay, we shake your hands, we get the deal done for you. So you can always go to our website, cid.com.my, to look up at what properties we have for you, especially the residential property. If you want to pop up your first home to stay, get in there to find out what we have for you. Okay, our residential agents will love to serve you as well and show you a fantastic viewing of property. And some of the properties today, our residential agents can also show you virtual reality. We have fit in VR for the property, and if you can get a VR address given to you, WhatsApp to you, you can actually view the property by going into the property on virtual reality. Okay, to walk around the property, tour it around before you go and view. Why we have doing this is because of the pandemic now that our lifestyles of marketing has to change. So we actually fit that in for you to view it, and then when you go for the real property viewing, you are more than prepared to purchase if you like the property itself. Okay, and of course, we thank one of our sponsors for our talks as well. We do a lot of live talk shows. iProperty and Property Guru is one of the main portals in Malaysia. Okay, in Malaysia, I believe on the peninsula side, even Sabah, Sarawak, we have iProperty accounts everywhere. People who market the property, they always go online with iProperty or Property Guru. Okay, where you can actually search through this search engine to find out properties that are available. And of course, there's plenty of agents there as well, developers. And of course, CID Realtors, we have our agents having their accounts there as well to let you find out the property of your choice. And sourcing it through the Age, Star Property, Muda, Prop Social, those are other websites that you can also find out. And Malaysia, of course, you can also go into Muda. Muda has a lot of good deals as well. So, but of course, all these years we have been using a lot of iProperty. And if you go and buy a property in Mont Kiara, you're planning to purchase in Mont Kiara, you don't think about going to the condo and walk around and look for a banner. It won't happen. Okay, you have to go online. Even if you go to KLCC, you want to buy a property in KL, you won't see banners hanging on the balcony, say for sale, hardly, unless it's a low cost, medium cost, or those older condominiums, yes, but not the newer ones, not those which is very properly guarded. So you have to know what kind of properties you're buying. And the source is basically use your phone. Okay, the phone is going to be the source that you're going to look for the property of your ideal choice. All right, another place for you to find out is, of course, if you're buying your first property, we have plenty of affordable housing schemes in Malaysia. We thank the fantastic government for giving Even the previous government has been giving out these affordable housing schemes in Malaysia. As you can see on screen, the Perumahan Rakyat One Malaysia, all right, is affordable housing financing up to 110%. You need assistance on financing, and is properties which is between the eligible number of 100,000 to 400,000. There's a price controlled by the government. Okay, so what are the income eligibility for this? Is about 2,500 ringgit to 15,000 household income. So you can choose a scheme like this. Check it out online. You can Google it. You can find out their websites as well. And of course, my first home scheme, okay, financing up to 110%, also maximum up to 500,000, not more than that. Single applicants within eligibility 5,000, joint applicants within 5 to 10,000. And you can see BSN My Home program, Perumahan Rakyat as well, financing up to 100% and loan amount up 25,000 up to 300,000, okay, for eligible properties prices, and minimum income 1,000 ringgit. My Selangor home, affordable home as well. Okay, this one is also 42,000 to 250,000 price range, 3,000 to 10,000 income range, and also in Wilayah Persekutuan we have residency Wilayah affordable housing, 52,000 to 300,000, single applicant 10,000, joint applicants 15,000. So all these things are already fit in for you. All right, and Perumahan Penjawat Awam Malaysia PPAM as well, affordable housing for civil servants. If you're a civil servant, you can also purchase 90 to 300,000, and home income eligibility never state because you are a civil servant. So these schemes are there for you. If you plan to purchase your first property, you can also look at these schemes that is given by the government, offered by them. So look around what projects are fit in this criteria. Go and find out and go and check it out from there and the developer, and you purchase it from them. Okay, there are plenty of places that offer this kind of item. So what is it? House ownership campaign, HOC, which initially was ran through January 2019 to December 2019, as you know, and reintroduced to continue since last year to this year and 2021 December. So as long as you're a Malaysian citizen, you can purchase, all right? And purchasing with the intention to stay in the property, you must stay, okay? So don't try to cheat the government. You have to go and stay in the property. And SPA stamp between 1st of June to end of this year, you're eligible for this HOC, okay? And then the fantastic thing about this is there's exemption for stamp duty for all the first time home buyers as well. All right. And HOC also, you can see 300,000 to 1 million full exemption, count on property 10%, stamp duty on instrument full exemption, 1 million to 2.5 million partial exemption, of course, higher range. Your stamp duty is partial exemption 3%, discount on property 10%, and full exemption as well. And properties that are under the following regions must be registered with relevant authorities. So if you look, you Peninsula, you with Radar, this property can be seen in Radar websites. Sabah Sarawak, you got Sharida, and also Sarawak has Shida as well. So you can go to all these places to check them out. This HOC program, which is given by our government. Now, we also have SRP, Scheme Rumah Pertamaku, okay, also known as My First Home Scheme, reintroduced to continue in June 2020 to December 2021. So eligibility criteria, of course, Malaysian, first-time house buyer, purchasing with intention to stay. Some people always do buy, say intention to stay, then after that ran out lah. But of course, you cannot tangkap your problem lah. Gross monthly household income 5,000 to 10,000, joint applicants, single applicant 5,000. So you can see this housing scheme also gives you financing up to 110%. Okay, enabling to own a home without having the need to pay a single down payment. In fact, they give you some money to renovate your property, the 10%, but of course to also cover your legal fees and etc. All right, if you have lah. Okay, legal fees, of course, if you are buying from developer, sometimes gonna cut off. No legal fees. All right, so Jagamas SRP will guarantee the loan financing for you as well. Now, this SRP also for residential properties value between 300,000 to 500,000. All right, 0% down payment for first-time home buyers, and of course, 110 financing scheme as well. Now, legal fees may be part of the loan financing depending on respective participating bank's discretion. So it's up to that to happen. And financing tenure can go up to 35 years depending on your age. If you are older, of course, lesser lah. You're younger, then longer. Okay, subject to applicant's age not exceeding 70 years. So 70 years, normally, some people fit in a younger person, buy with father also can. Buy with mother also can, if your mother got income lah. Okay, then there's a use for it. One got income, one got age. So of course, they can give you a longer tenure. then that's only derived for residential properties. All right, only derived for residential properties, not commercial, not industrial. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like I said just now, one of the websites you can just pop in, just go into cid.com.my, find out what properties that we have, call our agents if you want to deal with them, or you can also go to the property portals in Malaysia to find out any information about properties available for sale. And shall you want to know a little bit more about what we can help you? Anytime, feel free, call our negotiators or CID people. They are always trained to serve you. Not only I can serve you, all of them are well trained to serve you and advise you how to purchase your first property in Malaysia. All right. And of course, like I said just now, I'm going to end today with something fantastic for you. If you're using your play, I mean, Android phone, okay. If you're using iPhones, we haven't get prepared yet. But if you're using an Android phone, go to your Play Store now, all right? Download this app called CID Toolbox. CID Toolbox. The app is on the right hand side of the screen now. Once you download it, you can actually play with it. Normally, this is prepared for how our negotiators and agents use in the market, but it's also good for you because there's a description for you if you want to use some of the calculation there to buy your property or do your calculation for your loan DSR and so on and so forth. Okay, and if you want to know more about CID's corporate information, what I've shared with you, who am I, what basically our branches or our directors, who are they? Go to our corporate website www.cid.my. You won't end up in the police website, but of course, this is just a realtor's website. Feel free to join, pop in there and see what we have to offer. Even there's a career for you to offer to you if you want to partake one. But please download CID Toolbox. Hopefully, it will help you. Okay, this is free of charge. It helps you to do your calculation whenever you meet agents or whoever developers. You want to do some calculation on yourself, fit in there, play with it. It's free of charge and it's download. I mean, it's good for you to learn as well. Okay. And of course, today it don't end here today. It's about an hour since I've been speaking. So I hope that you can throw me some questions before uh, I want to answer some of your fantastic questions as well. We are just nice an hour. I was given an hour to speak today. So I have to finish it in an hour. But of course, now we're open for anything to ask us. However, CID is not just ending here. We have a next episode live for you, okay? Which is next week, 5th of July. I'll continue telling you what you need to do more in depth because 1 hour really not enough for me to talk. So next live episode from CID is going to be dealing with your first real estate, how to deal with your first real estate. So when dealing your first real estate, what are the things we're going to discuss next week? We're going to talk about dealing with the agents, rents, brokers, and salespeople that sell it to you, what to see when you're inspecting your home. What you want to see when you go and inspect, what you need to see. So for first home buyers, they are always clueless. So so where they're clueless, they want to see what is expect what you are what you're going to see when you inspect your home. Then dealing with the professionals in their fields, who are the lawyers, all those people that you deal with, how to make payments, placing your bets, not asking you go casino, how to make payments, okay, and making your home the dream place to live in. So I'm going to tell you how you're going to make your place into a better dream home. You're going to deal with contractors and so on and so forth. What laws are there to protect you as well as a buyer or as an owner, maybe to when you sell. But as buying your first property, you need to know what laws are there to protect you when you buy if you cannot play out. Okay, and of course, tips of not getting you conned. All right. So stay tuned. Please register now. I'm sure we have all the forms for you to register. Fill up your forms. Get yourself registered for the talk next week, 8:30. Still free of charge. Not charging you. Don't need to pay me any credit cards. Don't need to pay me any cash. You come in live to listen to what I'm going to share with you. So I'm here. What the question is there? So we have a question here, right? A second. Give me a second. Sorry. How about auction property? Okay, fantastic. Good question. Auction property is a good place for you to look at now. Why? Because this kind of market now, a lot of defaulters. Okay, but however, remember auction properties you can't view inside. You can only view it from the outside. If it's a condominium, you can't even go in, and the person that's selling you don't even have photos. So the only setback about auction property is you're buying something that you may not know. You should know the property first, but you must expect the property. If there's any problems, it's all bound to be yours. Okay, whether is there a tenant that's going to be chased out, whether the property, sometimes you can buy cheaper, sometimes you go there, people bid here bid there, you'll probably buy higher some more, buy at a higher price. So depends. You must go to an auction, like I shared with you just now, with your budget. Don't exceed your budget, because if you exceed your budget, everyone exceeds the budget, so the price will hike up, and then at the end of the day you're buying something which is much higher price rather than something from the sub-sale market. So auction property is a good place to invest now because there's not many buyers. But when it's up market, you buy an auction property, it always shoots up the price. So it also depends where's the location you want to buy. Some auction property, if it's a good one, normally I let you know lah. If it goes to auction already, it's because there's too much to eat up, choke up, so the banks want to release it. But sometimes even good ones, bank people inside also support already. Some people, or maybe the person that is being defaulted will also sell it to their friend or sell it to someone who they know. So that's why probably sometimes also can't even reach us. So auction property, not to say is not good. You have to study the thing properly, and you make sure you know you're buying something that is not going to be a problematic problem. You also need to check whether maintenance service fee is all paid or not, whether the bills TMB all paid. Sometimes you want to book out TMB account, then they say, oh, Encik, you kena bayar semua bank account, all the clear up all these things first. They say, bukan nama saya. Oh, sekarang nak buka bank account pun kena clear dulu. So it becomes a problem. Shabas, honestly. So you want to factor that as your cost as well sometimes. Okay, you may face this kind of problems. So if you face it, don't say I never tell you lah. If you face it, take it as a cost. So why I always some people prefer to buy sub-sale, because sub-sale you can see what's the problems. But bank there also auction you can also see. Just make sure. And the reason why I would advise auction is a good place now, which also CID now we have opened a CID auctioners division where we also have auction properties from the banks. So I won't say that it's no good. It's also good because auction now at this kind of market, there's plenty of people defaulting. Okay, so there's plenty of people selling and they couldn't sell. So the price goes to the bank, it drops. And if you buy at the price where it's dropped already, then of course you're making a book value gain. So that is one of the best things you can do if you want to go to the auctions market. Get a good. You also must do your homework. Get, advice from the agents as well and people that is around there, professionals to teach you. All right. Any more questions? Do remember. Do remember. Come in, register with us. Okay. The next episode next week, we're going to talk about dealing with your first real estate. I hope all of you have enjoyed what I've shared with you. Do follow us on our social media. All right. If you want to come and know who am I, just follow me on Instagram, LOWTUNG with an underscore. Check me out on Instagram. And also, if you plan to know me, well, you want to be friends with me in Facebook, I can also just drop me a message that you have listened to my talk today. First, buy your first property. Okay, give me a message, then I can add you as a friend as well, improve your friendship. So you can search me LOWTUNG. I'm also on social media. You can find me there as well. And don't forget, go to our page, CID Realtors with an S at the back. Okay, Facebook, Instagram, follow us on Twitter as well so that you can get what's latest update from what we have to offer to you and share to the market. All right. So with that, I hope all of you have enjoyed this fantastic night of our sharing. Okay. Please stay tuned. My name is Lau Tong, also known as LT. I hope all of you enjoyed it. CID, we consider it done, and I hope all of you can find out more information and be part of us now as well. Good night, and please, ladies and gentlemen, stay COVID free and healthy as well. Good night.